Cześć, dzień dobry.
Cześć,
Mam na imię Kasia.
ja jestem Iza.
Zapraszamy na lekcję polskiego. We had a request to do a lesson about verbs ending with bym, byś, by. That's what we are going to cover today. Zapraszamy.
If you've been learning Polish for a while, then you'll be familiar with chcieć, which is the verb to want. And if you want to say that you want something, or that I want something, ja chcę, ty chcesz, on chce, etc., etc. But how do we make this more polite?
So you could say, and maybe you're already familiar with this one too, chciałbyś, you would like, or a question, would you like? Chciałabyś, when you're talking to a woman. If you want to order something in a restaurant, for example, you could start with chciałbym, chciałbym, if you're a guy, or if you're a woman, chciałabym, chciałbym, chciałabym.
So these forms are gender dependent. So the gender is relevant for all of the verb forms, whether it's I, you, she, he, obviously, but also for the plurals. So we, you plural, and they, these are all gender dependent.
True. And let's start with what we use there. Let's break it down. Chciałbym. So chciał, this bit, means he wanted. Chciała, that means she wanted. And that's what you use to say I would like. Chciałbym, chciałabym. Let's see how to use it in practice.
Chciałabym iść na spacer.
You could also just use a noun. Chciałabym kawę. Chciałabym herbatę. And then you use the accusative case.
So let's conjugate it. Ja chciałabym, I'm always going to say chciałabym because I'm a she. Ja chciałbym, if I were a man. Ty chciałbyś lub chciałabyś. Ona chciałaby, on chciałby, ono chciałoby.
By the way, you could use this from ono chciałoby, talking about a child. To dziecko chciałoby pobawić się. To dziecko chciałoby się pobawić. To dziecko chciałoby napić się wody. To dziecko chciałoby napić się wody.
Quick interruption. We would also like to remind you that we're offering group Polish courses, online courses, and all the information that you need, plus a placement test that you'd need to complete, are included in the description below, and we'd love to hear from you.
There will be small groups. If we have enough participants, we'd like to start groups at different levels. Let's take a look at plural. Now in plural, you'll see two versions. One is when we talking about a group of guys or a mixed gender group. And then the other one is used either for women or it could also be used for animals or objects. So let's take a look. My chcielibyśmy, my chciałybyśmy, my chciałybyśmy. Wy chcielibyście, wy chcielibyście, wy chciałybyście, chciałybyście, chciałybyście. Now it becomes a long word, doesn't it? Chciałybyście. Oni chcieliby, one chciałyby. And if you break it down, chcieli means they wanted, for guys or for a mixed gender group. Chciały is they wanted when you're talking about women or animals. It goes together with the pronoun one. One chciały. And therefore also one chciałyby. Oni chcieli. They wanted and they would like to. Oni chcieliby.
So take note of the spelling. We make 3 changes in the plural verb forms based on the gender of it. So chciały, we have an A, W, and a Y. And then chcieli, we have an E, an L, and an I.
We would use the same endings, bym, byś, by, byśmy, byście, by, to more or less express the idea of would do. Like I would do something, I would drink something, I would eat something. Then you just use those particles. And the endings, as you can see, depend on which person we're talking about. Let's take a look at zjadł. That's he ate. Zjadł. So he would eat will be
Zjadłby.
and then she would eat. What do you think?
Zjadłaby.
And then you conjugate it in the same way. Ty zjadłbyś? Talking to a guy. Ty zjadłabyś. On zjadłby. Ona zjadłaby. And so on. Let's take a look how to use it in practice. Głodna jestem, zjadłabym coś.
Co byś zjadła?
Zjadłabym naleśniki z serem.
Let's take a look at another verb. Pić. Or in this case, napić się, which is to have something to drink. Chce mi się pić. Napiłabym się czegoś.
Czego byś się napiła? Mam wodę gazowaną, Coca-Colę, co jeszcze? Mam herbatę, kawę. Czego byś się napiła?
To napiłabym się herbaty z cytryną.
Już ci robię.
And another verb, we're going to take móc. Móc, which is to be able to. The past tense, if you already know, that's great. If you don't, it's mógł. That is the third person singular. Mógł or mogła. The plural is mogli or mogły. And then we add the endings to them.
Let's take a look at the whole conjugation on screen. And now we're going to use it. O, ale tu gorąco. Mogłabyś otworzyć okno?
Tak, mogłabym. Już otwieram.
Uff, ale tu gorąco. Mogłabyś otworzyć okno?
No niestety nie mogłabym, bo nagrywamy i jest hałas.
No
Ale
trudno.
potem mogłabym. Side note, we can actually separate these two parts of these verb forms. So if I ask a question, I could say chciałabyś, as in would you like to, or mogłabyś. But if we're asking a question and we're using a question word such as when or where, so kiedy or gdzie, we can start with byś. Na przykład, gdzie byś chciała pojechać na wakacje?
Bardzo chciałabym pojechać nad morze.
Okej, to mogłybyśmy pojechać w sierpniu?
Lepiej będzie we wrześniu, bo nie będzie tak gorąco.
Dobry pomysł.
A jak byś chciała tam dojechać? Wolałabyś samochodem czy pociągiem?
I ja bym wolała pociągiem, bo jest wygodniej. A ty?
Ale samochodem byłoby szybciej.
Byłoby szybciej, tak. A jak by było taniej?
Chyba jednak pociągiem.
Ja pojechałabym pociągiem. A ty?
Jedźmy pociągiem, dobrze.
Dobrze.
Dobry pomysł. Let's practice. First we're going to give you a verb and then we'd like you to add those endings to a chosen verb to make a sentence or a question. The first one I'd like you to use is kupić. Kupić, which is to buy. That's a perfective aspect. How do you think you'd say she bought? Kupiła. Kupiła. How would you then say would you buy? Could you buy? More like you use it to ask someone politely. How would we say that? Which particle to add? Kupiłabyś. Kupiłabyś. As in, kupiłabyś mi bilet?
Tak, kupiłabym. Let's take one that might be a little bit more difficult, but you can use the verb to be able to, so móc, as base for it. We're going to look at pomóc. Pomóc, which is the perfective form of to help. What is the past tense? How would you say he helped? Like he helped me. On pomógł. On pomógł mi.
On pomógł mi.
So how would you ask your male friend if he could help you? Czy pomógłbyś mi? Czy pomógłbyś mi nieść walizkę? Czy pomógłbyś mi nieść walizkę?
Next verb is pójść. Pójść, which is to go, perfective aspect. Then how do you say they went when you're talking about a group of guys or a mixed gender group? Oni poszli. Poszli. How would you then ask a group of friends if they would like to go to a cinema? Using this verb, so more like, would you go to the cinema with me? Poszlibyście ze mną do kina? Poszlibyście ze mną do kina?
Since we were saying that these verb forms can be used as like the polite way of saying something, let's also use the formal way of addressing people. So, pan I pani. And with this, we use the third person verb form. So, let's take móc again. What is the past tense, third person? Mógł lub mogła. So, how would we ask a lady that we don't know if she could help us? Czy mogłaby mi pani pomóc? Czy mogłaby mi pani pomóc?
Czy mogłaby mi pani pomóc?
Tak, jasne.
Let's have a bit more practice. How would you say, I would like to eat something? If it's a woman talking, I would like. Chciałabym. Chciałabym coś zjeść. Chciałabym coś zjeść.
And if it's a man talking, chciałbym coś zjeść. As an alternative, without chciałabym,
More like I could eat something. How would you say that?
zjadłabym coś. Or if you're a man, zjadłbym coś.
Let's take a look at another example. Would you buy me a ticket? Talking to a guy. How would you say that? Kupiłbyś mi bilet? Kupiłbyś mi bilet? And if you're talking to a woman, and if you're asking a woman, kupiłabyś mi bilet? Kupiłabyś mi bilet?
So how would we say, could we open the window? Czy mogłybyśmy otworzyć okno? Czy mogłybyśmy otworzyć okno? And if you're a mixed gender group, take a moment to think about it. Czy moglibyśmy otworzyć okno?
And if you're just on your own and you'd like to open the window, and if you're asking if it's okay with others, if you're a man, could I open the window? Czy mógłbym otworzyć okno? Czy mógłbym otworzyć okno? And if you're a woman, czy mogłabym otworzyć okno? Czy mogłabym otworzyć okno?
Okay, next one. How would we ask a female friend if she would prefer to go somewhere by train or by car? Czy wolałabyś jechać pociągiem czy samochodem? Czy wolałabyś jechać pociągiem czy samochodem? And if it were a male friend?
Czy wolałbyś jechać pociągiem czy samochodem? Czy wolałbyś jechać pociągiem czy samochodem? And if you're asking someone you don't know, so you want to use the word pan, how would you say that?
Czy wolałby pan jechać pociągiem czy samochodem? And if you're addressing a woman, czy wolałaby pani jechać pociągiem czy samochodem?
Czy wolałaby jechać pani pociągiem czy samochodem?
Two little notes. The first one is that, well, you might have realized it already, but the number of syllables often changes, or usually changes, looking at the male and female forms. So chciałby, chciałaby, wolałby, wolałaby, it's normal, they are supposed to change. And the other thing is that, again, you might have noticed that sometimes you can change the order of the words around. It's not like, it's quite flexible. It's not like it's a fixed order in which you have to keep the words. So, czy pani by chciała? Czy chciałaby pani? Yeah.
And one more little note. Take a look where the stress is, which syllable is stressed.
That's a good
It's
point.
not the usual way that Polish words are stressed, which is the second syllable from the end of the word. But here, take a look. Wolałabym, wolałabym. Chcielibyśmy, chcielibyśmy.
Zrobiłabym?
Zrobilibyśmy,
Zrobilibyśmy.
zrobilibyśmy.
Tak, no, tak.
To wszystko na dzisiaj. Napiszcie w komentarzach, co chcielibyście zobaczyć na naszym kanale. Jaka lekcja byłaby przydatna? To wszystko na dzisiaj. Miłego dnia, do zobaczenia.
Do zobaczenia. Cześć.
Pa, cześć.
Pa, pa.
Tak?
Tak.